What's up, guys? Jude here. Another video number 2, right? First video before we begin did amazing. Okay, thank you guys for the views. Thank you for the likes. I think I got like 1 comment. That was cool. And 15 subscribers too, not to mention. But thank you guys for that. 15 subscribers. You guys are the OGs now. So shout out to you guys. This is my second time recording this video because the first time was too long and I couldn't export it to literally anything. So anyway, we're back. Second go through. I'm filming this in segments now. Anyway, I'm talking about injuries today. Okay, no one likes them. Okay, injuries are terrible. Injuries suck, but a lot of runners get them. So that's why I'm going to be talking about them. I have quite a bit of experience in this. I'm going to be talking about 3 are injuries. 1, I was just deathly ill. But it's going to be a good time, okay? It is dark and spooky out here, and yes, I'm a little bit scared. But it's okay, because tomorrow's Halloween, and I need to get into the spooky spirit. Whenever this is edited, it'll probably be after Halloween. But it's okay. New things for this video, right? My editor, Jameson, he killed it last video. It was amazing. Shout out to Jameson. He's a junior, right? And junior year of high school is a busy time, and he is exceptionally busy in these next few weeks. So my friend Mason has a lot of free time, apparently, because he's wanting to help me out, which is amazing. Thank you, Mason. He will be editing this video. So thank you, sir. Let's get into my first injury. Okay, so my first injury, right? I was in 8th grade. I was in cross-country season. I was in baseball season, right? It was going well. I was thriving, okay? I was on top of the world. It was 8th grade, okay? That was, like, the prime. It was regional baseball game, right? We're playing Metcalf. Any Metcalf people watching? We smacked you guys in that game. 8-0 in a regional game, right? I'm kidding. No offense to Metcalf. It was a pretty big game, right? My school and Metcalf, you know, we faced each other a fair amount. And we had previously lost by 1 run to Metcalf in a regular season game. So that was unfortunate. And then we beat them in a tournament. So we were 1-1, right? And we were playing them in this regional. I was getting some hits, right? I was having a pretty good game. Okay, I was like 1 for 2 or something. We're up like 8-0. It's going well. We're moving on to the next round, right? And it's the end of an inning, right? We get 3 outs. I'm playing center field. I'm running in from center field, okay? Just like, it was normal, heading to the dugout. And I'm like almost to the dugout, and I feel something hit my knee. That's what it felt like. It felt like my first thought was somebody hit me in the knee with a ball. And I remember actually looking around, like on the ground. I was like, what ball just hit me? And I did fall to the ground. My coach was like, why are you on the ground? Like what happened here? And I was like, someone hit me. And they're like, what? No. I must have looked pretty crazy, because there was nothing around that hit me. I just fell over, basically. I could have sworn that something had hit me. That's really what it felt like. We got MRIs later. They said in the doctor's office, be honest with us, what happened? And I was like, okay, I was running in from the outfield. Something felt like it hit me, but nothing did. And I fell over, and it hurt a lot. They were like, well, it looks like someone took a bat and smashed the side of your knee. And I was like, yeah, it doesn't sound that good. And they were like, yeah, you have a severe bone bruise and you're out for a minute. So I did end up missing the rest of my 8th grade cross country season, which was really unfortunate because I had actually won my first race that season. I got first. It was great. I was doing pretty well, right? Out for the rest. And even like at the state meet, my coach was trying to comfort me. He was like, well, you still have track season, right? That was my whole mentality. That brings us to our next segment here. So after my first injury, my severe bone bruise, I was out for about a month and a half. It really wasn't terrible. My main focus, like, in life became track season. November and December, January, I grinded for the track fitness so hard. I was in pretty good shape. I wasn't really, like, running out in the cold. Like, I wasn't at that point in my running career yet. But I was on the exercise bike, like, every day on that grind, you know? I might have been the most locked in man of all time. I was so ready for my 8th grade track season. The season started, was going great. I was doing my indoor practices. I was hitting the workouts, and I was in pretty good shape going into 8th grade track season. So March rolls around. My previous injury, by the way, was in September of 2023. So now we're in March 2024, and we get to the first practice. It's March 8th, I believe. Yeah, March 8th. I go to practice, right? I'm with the guys. Our team's looking great. We're doing a fitness circuit of some sort because we're still in the gym because it's still really freaking cold outside. We finish practice, right? It's great. I'm ready. I'm geared up for the season. And the next day, I'm out on the track. Okay, it's like 30 degrees, but I'm helping my boys, Tanner, Austin, Blake. I'm helping them with their sprint form. It was going great. Okay, I was so ready for this track season to redeem myself after cross country. The next day I go to baseball practice. Like I said, I was pretty good at baseball. I was a dog. I ended my previous season with like 10 home runs, and I played on a travel team, so I was decent. That practice, it's always the dumbest drill that you get injured doing. The drill was you're taking a cutoff, right? But you're not actually. It's simulating a cutoff in baseball, where you take the catch from here and you turn and you throw. Tap the right side of your screen twice if you want to skip ahead 10 seconds and not hear what happened. So I'll give you a second there. So my kneecap slid out and went back in. Yeah, I was injured. That was pretty bad. Anyway, if you skipped ahead, you're probably back with us now. Welcome. Yeah, I knew that this was bad. I knew that I was injured and this one was pretty bad. I have never felt anything like that, really. And, I mean, I've felt it a few times, but anyway, this one was bad. And I fell to the ground. I was like, it happened again. Yeah, I really knew something was up there. So we get MRIs, right? I was so defeated. And just so depressed after being injured that second time. I was like, my season is screwed over. Even if I can make a comeback, it doesn't really matter because I will lose so much fitness from it. This is a very important part of the video that I want to talk about, is the mental part of being injured. Nobody tells you about it at all, really. Like, whenever you're injured, they're like, oh, well, whatever you injure just hurts, right? But the mental game is so big of a part. My grades plummeted. Okay, my math grade went down to like a C-. I started, disrespecting my teachers and whatever, which my class was pretty rambunctious, you could say. But anyway, 8th grade class was a wild one. Loved those guys. They were great. My grades went down a lot. I was usually all A's. I was B's and C's now. I just didn't care. I didn't have anything to care about, really. That's what it felt like. Whenever your sport is taken from you like that, it's really, really hard to stay motivated to do anything. You just really got to control what you can control. I think that's a great phrase to remember whenever you're going through an injury. So that injury was pretty bad. I was out for about 3 months. 3 months till I fully recovered, okay? I had dislocated my knee again. Well, my first one, right? The severe bone bruising that was caused by a knee dislocation, a bone hitting something it wasn't supposed to. We later figured that out after I got injured the second time. This one was really bad. This was in March. It was March 10th that I got injured. I will always remember that day. And yeah, I really had to work to get back. I remember when I got back on the exercise bike, it was amazing. I was like, I'm able to do stuff again, because I had just been hanging out for a month before I could even start exercise bike, and I was in physical therapy. I'm working with my guy Gage. A little foreshadowing. I'm working with him again right now. I saw him today. But anyway, that was my second injury. So I did recover from my second injury, and I had a very productive summer track season. It was great. Went to nationals at Texas A&M for 800. Everything was going pretty well, right? I dropped like 9 seconds in one race in the 800. I recovered, and it went great. It was very, very hard for me seeing, like, my team, go on to state and everything without me in track, but I had to see it in cross country too, so I guess I was used to it or something. But yeah, it was rough. I won't lie. After that, things were going well. The summer track season was great. Freshman cross country season was going pretty well. I was on varsity. I was the number 6 runner. We had a pretty good team last year. Very young team. And we still do. Yeah, I didn't really have any knee problems or anything, really any injuries that season. I had pretty solid training, and I had pretty productive year, I would say. So freshman cross country season went well, and that brings us to freshman track season, where not an injury but an illness actually happened, and that's a different kind of injury, but still takes a toll on you. All right, so this illness that I had, right, it was in April and early May. Whenever I would eat, after half hour, 45 minutes, I would feel like a lot of pain in my stomach, and I was like, what's going on? Because at first, like the first day it happened, like you have a little pain in your stomach after eating, not a big deal, right? You just, you wait it out and it's fine. This one was like, it would happen every day and it kept happening, so we knew something was up. It was in early May where I had some blood work done, and they didn't find anything. Like, nothing was wrong with me. But I remember it was in later May, right? I just kind of been taking some medication for it, toughing it out, In later May, one day, it got really bad. After eating, I could not stand, which was bad. I was just like on the bathroom floor, and I was like, oh man, this is rough. But I went to the ER, right? Got the IV and all that, and I was there for like 3 hours. But what was interesting was I was at a point in the year where I had finals, which I had 7, because even if you have A's in my school, you still take all your finals. So I had 7 finals to take. Also, sectional track meet was the next day. So really not the best time to be sick. And this caused me a lot of stress on my body. And my mentality was like, well, I'm not stressed. I'm chilling. I'm fine, right? No. Even if your mind, like if you think like, oh, I'm not stressed, your body still is. And from the stress from track and also from like virus that I had, I was experiencing a lot. And that showed whenever I thought about either studying for like my advanced English final, which is the one I was most stressed about, or running sectionals. I had a chance to make it to state. I could have made it out of the sectional, so I was a little bit stressed. Yeah, it would hurt my stomach thinking about it, which doesn't really like make sense, but it is kind of cool how those two things like are related. But yeah, okay, so the next day, right, I go home that night, let's say I go home, and you can't just tell someone who's like really stressed like, oh, just calm down. That's not gonna work. You kind of have to work through whatever they're going through with them, if that makes sense. I was like, I need to chill out. That's what the doctors are saying, right? I'm stressed, I need to chill. So I remember I went home, I ate a little something because my stomach wasn't feeling great. I studied a little bit, but I was like, I have an A in the class. I'm going to be fine even if I fail this. I'll still come out with a decent grade, which is true. I did. And I showered, and I just chilled out. And I remember, this is just a funny detail, I played, on Spotify, I played Houston Old Head by A$AP Rocky. And I was like, well, this is a chill song. A$AP's just, he's smoking and drinking with Unk, that's what the song's about. So I was like, yeah, this is great, I should be chill now. So I don't know, that was just a fun detail I remember. But yeah, I ended up laying on the couch a lot the next day, which is no surprise. But I was thinking like I was just sidelined from sectionals and I had a chance to make it. It's pretty rough. My parents like were in the room, right? I was laying on the couch and they were in the room, and they said, so you're just not running? And I was like, yeah, I was in the ER for 3 hours last night. And they're like, okay, that's fine. Be that way. They didn't actually say that, but And I was thinking, I was like, what have I come to? Why am I being sidelined just because I was in the ER for a little bit of time? So I was like, let me change real quick. And I went and got into my jersey, got my bag, and we were on our jolly way. We were headed to El Paso for the sectional. So I ended up running, actually. I ran the 800 that day. I dropped the mile. There was no chance in hell I was running the mile. It was also cold as balls that day. It was like, 40 degrees and raining. So, real fun stuff. And my head was cold. I just got in a buzz cut. That was an unimportant detail. But anyway, yeah, I ended up running. And I texted my coach on the way to the meet. I was like, Coach, I'm going to give you what I have. It's not going to be much. Don't expect me to go to state here. And he was like, you're a warrior, just give us what you have. And I was like, all right. And I ran a very, very fast blazing time with 2:19, with my PR being 2:07. So not my best performance, but what are you going to do? All right. serious part of the video, the fourth injury. I don't even consider that illness to be an injury, but so my third injury. I was at practice, right? Normal sophomore cross country season. It's going well, right? Team's looking well. Chance for state, looking great. That rhymed anyway. And it's all, like I said earlier in the video, it's always the dumbest exercise that you get injured doing. And we were doing our post run exercises, right? And we're doing backwards skip with a twist, which means you're skipping backwards and then you spin around. Why? I don't know. Makes it faster, I guess. I was always like, well, it's the dumbest one, but I'm doing my post run, right? I'm doing it at least, and I'm in mid spin, right, and then skip ahead 10 seconds. I'm giving you fair warning here. Okay. I feel it again, and I think my kneecap slides out and goes back in again. Okay, welcome back to those who skipped ahead. So I was on the ground, right? Some people on my team came over, and one of my coaches did too, and they were like, "What happened?" And I was like, "I think I dislocated my knee again." And they're like, "No, you're all right." This was the difficult part of it for me. No one really understood that I was out. I was pretty injured. And that was difficult because it was like everyone expected me, like, oh, you're gonna be back for sectionals, right? You're gonna be running again soon, right? But no one understood that I was really injured. So yeah, I was struggling with that because I felt a lot of pressure to return because I was like, my team needs me. We're planning on going to state this year, so I got to get back and healthy. I was like, this is bad. And it was happening at the worst time, and it was already October. It was October 9th. I was like, this is not the time for me to get injured, right? That was difficult. Okay, so that day that I get injured, right, I called up my mom, and I basically said, it happened again. I need you to come pick me up. I hurt my knee. And I definitely heard my mom swearing on the phone because, we had been through this before, right? Not the first rodeo with the knees. She came over. I just left practice because I had to go home and get iced and everything. So went home. I remember I cried because it was at the worst possible time to get injured. Like, postseason was coming up, right? It was October 9th that I got injured, so postseason started the 20-something. It was in like 3 weeks, okay? So really not an ideal time to get injured. One of the reasons this was so upsetting to me was because I had already injured my other knee twice. And I was like, oh, my left knee, that's the bad one, right? My right one, we're chilling. No, this injury is my right knee now, which sucks because I can't trust either of them. But anyway, the day I got injured at practice, I was able to walk it off. Call me a hero, but I walked it off, right? I knew something was not right with it because it didn't feel great, obviously. I just dislocated it, but I was able to walk it off. And I think that is one of the big reasons that my teammates were like, oh, Jude's fine, he took a little tumble. He's all right though, right? That was not the case. I knew personally that like in here, I didn't say it. I might have said it out loud, but I was like, I am injured. This is bad. I know what it feels like to have a dislocated knee, and that's exactly what it feels like. So it's the worst kind of deja vu. I felt it twice now, and you just know instantly, like, oh, this is bad. And I feel like if you've had knee injuries like this before, or any other recurring injury really, like, oh, it's happening again. You can kind of tell. All right, so what do you do when you get your knee injured, right? You're going to go get an MRI and x-rays and whatnot, because that's the reasonable thing to do, right? And so we go and we get our MRIs done, x-rays. X-rays were fine. I didn't break anything. That's just silly. I would not stoop to that level. I'm kidding. MRIs, right? We wait like 5 days. I don't know why it took this long, but it took us a minute to get our results. And it was that awkward thing, some of you will know this situation. People ask, like, oh, what happened? And you don't know yet because you haven't gotten your MRI results. So that's what I was going through for a few days. We got him back, and this guy, right, we had trusted him because we had seen this guy twice before. It was the same doctor. He had done some good stuff for us in the past, so we had some trust in this guy. He said, you see this thing right here? I have no clue how to read MRIs, but anyway, he was pointing at this blurry thing. And he was like, let me see that. See, that's your meniscus. and that little thing right there, see that's a tear. And I was like, all right, so I am screwed. I'm it's wraps. What can I do? He also said, there's no blood in the meniscus, so it's not gonna heal. I was like, okay, don't tell me that. So another thing that this doctor says, right, is, oh, well, you're not having any pain, are you? And I was like, no, I'm just sitting here, right? I'm chilling. No, I don't have pain. And he was like, you're good to run. You got it. Go ahead. And I was like, you just told me I tore my meniscus and had severe bone bruising around it. And you're like, you can run now? That doesn't make sense to me. Obviously, I was like, oh, this is good news. So I texted all my homies. And they were still in school, but some of them were in study hall, so they got the message. The word spread, on the team. Jude's back, right? He's cleared. And it was great, okay? I go to practice. I'm suited up. I'm in my running attire. And we're playing some Frisbee at the start of practice, like we do. We're just throwing it around. A little monkey in the middle at times. Usually freshman in the middle. But and I had one step. I just, lunged for a Frisbee, and it didn't feel too good. So, my homie Daniel, he was like, how did that step feel? And I was like, pretty bad. So I wasn't real confident right in that moment. So what I decided to do is I was like, I'm gonna try just a few steps. I'm gonna go in the parking lot where we warm up, and I'm gonna take a few jogging steps, right? And I take a solid 5 steps, and then my knee just crumbles basically. It just blows up. Feels terrible instantly. 3 seconds of running, feeling like I got injured again. I didn't re-injure myself, though. That's just what it felt like. So I was obviously a little spooked. I hopped on my left leg for a minute because I was like, that wasn't good. I don't want to stand on my right one. Yeah, that was bad. I was very disappointed in that. I remember I went over to a small hill by where we warm up and practice, in a very scenic place, by the way. And I sat down. Yeah, I just started crying. I couldn't help it again. That was just what happened. My friends John and Daniel came over and consoled me, but eventually they had to warm up, and I was just left by myself, right? Me and my tears, all this angst. But anyway, I feel like that day was terrible for me because for one real reason in particular, I had told all my teammates, I am fine, I'm back, right? I can run. The season is saved. This was not the case anymore. I was very clearly not ready to run at all because, 5 steps and feeling injured, that's not what you want. Yeah, I put my shirt over my head so people, couldn't see me, and I was just crying for a while. And that's how most of my night actually went. I remember I went out on the porch, the sun went down in my Letterman, real majestic-like. I just looked out into the distance, and then I had a seat on my rocking chair. And I really started crying. I felt so helpless. I was like, what am I even supposed to do here? I keep getting injured. I can't do anything about it, really. I have a torn meniscus, and it's not going to heal. And I was embarrassed, like I said, because I had told everyone I'm back, and I wasn't. I think I heard this quote the other day, and it was actually really fitting. And it reminded me of the moment where I was just on the porch, just distraught and feeling like I couldn't do anything, And it was that it said, sometimes a man doesn't cry because he's weak. Sometimes he's been strong for too long. And I think that perfectly encapsulated what I was feeling in that moment. Because whenever I was originally injured, yeah, I cried. But I think that was more from pain and shock. I think I was still very hopeful for my season. That was just gone because I was like, I'm not even close to ready, and I have a torn meniscus. So I was feeling terrible. Now we go to a second opinion. Okay, and this is where things change. I was misdiagnosed. That man lied to me. I don't know if he just did an awful job at analyzing or if he was trying to scam me or something, but my mom's friend has a son, and he tore his ACL. And this same guy that we trusted was like, oh, you need surgery immediately. But they went to a second opinion, and they were like, slow down, hold on. At this age, you don't need no surgery, right? So we went to the second opinion, and they were looking at the MRI. We were like, yeah, this guy told me I had a torn meniscus. He was like, there's no tear. And I was like, okay, so it's not making sense to me, right? I was telling everyone at school that I had a torn meniscus, which sounds way cooler than what did happen, I think. I dislocated my knee again, which I was right. Just saying, I was right, because, I was telling people, like, right as I got injured, like, seconds after, I was like, I dislocated my knee. Just saying, I know what it feels like. They doubted me. It's whatever. So yeah, that brings us to the present, right? I am still injured. Okay, I'm still on the comeback, right? We had a little chat with my physical therapist, Gage. What a guy. Love Gage. He's great. Maybe he's seeing this video. Hey, Gage. He was saying, like, we could do the ultimate comeback here. Like, you could run at sectionals. Just bad things could happen. And my thought process, and this had kind of been how it was. I was, for a while, right? I was thinking, if I come back, I'm not going to be at 100%. There's a risk of me getting injured again, which doesn't seem great, especially since my team, like, we had a chance of qualifying. I wouldn't even be at 100%, so it wouldn't really matter. I just pulled the plug on the season. Was I sad? Yeah. Obviously, that's not fun. I'd rather be running with the guys after school every day. Instead, I was thinking of it as a little opportunity. That's what my track coach told me to do as well. So I was like, this is just an opportunity, okay? And I was thinking of positives. What are positives that come out of a dislocated knee? Well, for one, I was feeling burnt out in October. I was like, I'm just running. Why am I running? Don't know. Am I running for fun? I don't know. I'm not enjoying it right now. I'd been running with the same guys for a lot of months, and I was starting to butt heads with some of them. But we're chill now. It was small things. I was getting irritable. I guess that's how you say it. I was just getting mean for no reason, and I apologize to my team for that, for sure. But yeah, this injury did grant me a little rest, I think. So I turned it into a positive. What am I doing currently to get back? Okay, I'm on the bike. Okay, I'm on the exercise bike, getting it done in my basement. I'm doing some like workouts, like bike workouts. One really hard mile at like max resistance, and then one easy mile. It's like an interval kind of thing, so it's kind of fun. I am getting back to running. I started really slow. I started at like 10:40 pace or something, and like just 0.33 was like my first run. That's all I could really trust myself with. My form was ass cheeks, but that was all like overcompensating because I knew it was hurt and I knew I couldn't trust it yet. So this last like week, basically a little longer, but it's just been a process of getting the form back, building up my form so that it's good again, gaining confidence of my runs. So when I started filming this, I hit a mile that day. That was my big mark. I hit 1.2 today. I'm kind of going up by like 0.1 per day, and if I continue to feel good, I'm still doing my strengthening stuff as well. Lots of stretching. Stretching's just like, it's good for everything. Stretch, Will it cure my knee? I don't know, but it's got to help something, right? Yeah, lots of that. Eating well and, the basics. You got to stick to the basics. Control what you can control while you're injured. Okay, that brings us to about all I have, really. I started filming this like 2 days ago, but some of my videos were not like small enough. All right. Some of them like wouldn't send to my editor because the files were too big or something. So I just redid like the last half of the video, and that was also my second time filming it. So it's like my third time doing this part. But anyway, it's whatever. Appreciate you guys for watching. I'm up to like 16 subscribers now, which is pretty tough. Shout out to you guys, to the OG. Again, I don't know if I'm like repeating anything that I've already said at the start of the video because I don't really remember, but I don't know. It's probably a long video, so I'm sorry to my editor, Mason, for having to edit all this, but I appreciate you. W. Mason in the comments is helping me out a little bit, while Jameson is doing school stuff. I don't really mess with all that, but you should have good grades. My grades are good still. Yeah, if you are injured, though, stay strong. You're not alone. It's temporary. It's not a permanent thing. You're gonna be back, right? This is fun. Getting distracted. Anyway, if you're running in state in a week, yeah, it is a week. The time I'm filming this is November 1st. Good luck to you. Enjoy it. State's a great experience. I'm acting like I've run it. I haven't, but I did it in middle school, so that's there's something. Detweiler's a fun course if you've never done it. Don't worry about the start. It's very wide. Yeah, really just enjoy being there. You earned it. This isn't something that everybody gets to do. Yeah. Good luck to everyone in their postseason. Thanks for watching. Posted like a short a few minutes ago. That was cool. Never done that. I edited it myself, so I'm pretty proud of myself. Yeah, I'll be having some videos out. I'm staying on the YouTube grind for a little bit. This is fun. I enjoy doing it. So thank you guys for watching. See you next time.